All right, let's jump straight into this explainer, because today we are confronting a highly uncomfortable truth about why we constantly self-sabotage. But more importantly, we're going to break down exactly how you can permanently rewire your mindset in just one single day. So if you've ever felt stuck in that endless loop of breaking promises to yourself, well, this is exactly what you need to hear.
I want you to try something with me real quick. Just close your eyes for a second. Picture waking up at 3 a.m., exactly 10 years from right now. But in this reality, your life went completely off the rails. You're totally broke, your health is a mess, you're alienated from your family, and you're just sitting there staring at an old photo of yourself from today, crying because you realize you wasted absolutely all of your potential. Think about that heavy, sinking regret. How does that make you feel in this exact moment?
Okay, open your eyes, boom. You just got a second chance. You are back in the present. The crucial point here is that we aren't going to rely on fake temporary motivation today. We're not doing those hyped up New Year's resolutions that totally fizzle out in 2 weeks, right? Instead, we are going to perform a deep, permanent psychological intervention. Section 1. The myth of laziness. Why laziness is actually a defense mechanism.
For about 99% of folks out there, they're using forced discipline to chase their goals. They are constantly fighting against their own nature. But the top 1%, truly successful people, like a top-tier CEO or a champion bodybuilder, they don't do that. They change their core identity. Think about a bodybuilder for a second. For them, eating healthy isn't a struggle at all. Eating junk food is the struggle. They've shifted their identity so much that hard work just becomes their natural, effortless baseline.
To really grasp why changing who we are is so incredibly tough, we have to talk about a concept called teleology. Basically, this is the psychological principle that every subconscious action you take, even just sitting lazily on the couch, is actually driven by a hidden goal to avoid discomfort. It literally proves your brain is always executing these hidden, goal-oriented behaviors right behind your back, just to keep you perfectly safe from the unknown.
But right alongside that, we have cybernetics. This is the art of steering towards a goal by taking action, receiving feedback, and continuously course-correcting without throwing in the towel. It's the actual scientific framework of how we overcome all those subconscious fears. So instead of just freezing up, we navigate through trial and error, kind of like a ship automatically adjusting its course the second the wind changes.
So when you match these two concepts together, you arrive at this pretty wild conclusion. Laziness literally does not exist. It's simply a defense mechanism. You aren't hitting snooze on your 6 a.m. alarm because you lack discipline, not at all. Your brain is just acting like a brilliant scientist, rationalizing your sleep to protect you from the fear of trying and potentially failing. It just wants to keep you safe from the pain of effort.
Section 2. The identity trap. The true cause of your stagnation.
Think about the 8 steps of how an identity actually forms. It starts with setting a goal and goes all the way to defending an identity and repeating the entire cycle. This perfectly illustrates how a simple childhood survival habit, like say, learning to stay quiet so you don't get in trouble, eventually calcifies into a super rigid identity. And once you hit step 7, defending that identity, you will fight tooth and nail to protect it, even if it's completely ruining your adult life today. This whole process gradually builds into the 9 stages of ego development. We're talking everything from the impulsive stage of a toddler all the way up to the highly aware unitive stage. And as you climb through these stages, you start to realize that your so-called personality and your deepest beliefs, they were mostly just absorbed from society and your upbringing. For the vast majority of people, this keeps them locked tight in a safe, predictable, but entirely unfulfilling box. It all boils down to this absolutely brutal truth. You protect your old identity, even at the cost of your own success. Imagine a veteran doctor who stubbornly refuses to use a highly efficient new AI tool just out of pure pride. By doing that, they are literally choosing to fail, just to protect a fragile, totally outdated version of themselves. And honestly, we all do this every single day when we refuse to adapt.
Section 3. Cybernetics and True Intelligence.
So, what does this actually mean for us? Well, we have to completely redefine what intelligence is. As the entrepreneur Naval Ravikant points out, real intelligence has nothing to do with raw IQ scores. It's your ability to combine the agency to take action with the cybernetic persistence to fail, learn, and try again until you finally win. Almost all of us have opportunities today. The real difference is who has the intelligence to actually persist through the friction.
The contrast here is night and day. Someone with low intelligence hits a roadblock or a bottleneck and they just freeze. They give up and blame the world around them. But a person with high intelligence operates exactly like a thermostat. When they sense an error, they don't throw a massive emotional meltdown. They simply adjust the temperature and course correct. They see failure purely as data.
Section 4, the one-day protocol. How to completely reset your life.
Okay, so here is your literal roadmap for tomorrow. It's a visceral, full-day psychological intervention broken down into 3 totally distinct phases: morning diagnostics, daytime tracking, and nighttime recalibration. You're going to need to clear out some serious mental space to execute this properly. Let's kick things off with the morning operation.
Tomorrow morning, you need to sit completely alone with a notebook and unflinchingly answer some pretty brutal questions. What am I tolerating? What are my 3 main complaints? What truth am I actively hiding? What happens if I change absolutely nothing in 5 years? And what identity must I kill? You are doing this to rip away your ego and expose the very real pain of your current trajectory.
Then, we move right into the daytime operation. Throughout the day, you're going to set exactly 6 alarms on your phone, and when they go off, you have to answer to them. For example, a 1:30 p.m. alarm might pop up and ask, if a CCTV camera was watching me right now, would it prove I'm actually working on my goals? These alarms forcefully snap you out of your automatic, lazy, subconscious habits.
Finally, we wrap up with the nighttime operation. Right before bed, you need to pinpoint the specific internal belief that tried to sabotage you that day. Then, you write down your anti-vision, the exact horrific, miserable life you are utterly terrified of living. You need to make it as vivid and as scary as possible. It is the ultimate fuel for you to run away from.
Always remember, write down the life you never want, and tomorrow morning, you wake up as a completely different person. If you can push through this protocol with brutal honesty, you will experience a permanent psychological shift. So, the only question left for you is, are you brave enough to actually kill off your old identity tomorrow morning?